Ahsoka Season 1 was messy and slow, but had some redeeming elements. Now, what the heck are they gonna do with Season 2? Welcome to Star Wars Uplink. I have not been quiet when it comes to my dissatisfaction with Ahsoka Season 1. I think it had some great ideas, but failed so critically when it came to its pacing. One of the slowest Star Wars shows when it comes to actually progressing the story that they wanted to tell. And honestly, they didn't even have a story they wanted to tell. By the end of the season, they end with how they started. This character and this character are stuck on this planet and they can't get back. And they end, and this character and this character are stuck on this planet and they can't get back. Now, those characters are different, but when you look at the character growth of the individuals on this planet, they are, I would say, non-existent. I would say Ahsoka Tano and Sabine and Shin, Huyang, Baylan, basically every character that is in this show does not have deep growth when it comes to progressing their story further. And I'm not talking about the broader plot or anything like that. Their own internal struggles, their own path forward in the galaxy. Ahsoka is supposed to have this this come down from the mountain kind of change in terms of how she approaches how she's teaching Sabine, and that just does not happen. Sabine works tirelessly even though she's upset and all these things, and when we are introduced to Sabine in this season and when we leave Sabine in this season, they're basically the same characters, except now Sabine has been able to use the Force. Why? We don't know. And I'm not saying that there's not a problem with her being able to use the Force. I personally think it's super unoriginal to have a Mandalorian utilizing the Force and having these things and all this stuff. Like, they intentionally in this story, they're like, this character, Sabine, is the worst Jedi we've ever seen, blah, blah, blah. I think her character is much more fascinating without this introduction of a Jedi aspect. I think it would be much more fascinating to see Ahsoka teach Sabine with no Force sensitivity than it is with her having Force sensitivity. It's my personal opinion. You can agree or disagree to it. I'm fine either way. I feel like her character would be more impactful if she did not have the Force. And I would say that's kind of like my overall feelings toward Ahsoka as a season is it honestly could have not been made and nothing would have changed for the characters. Whatever season 2 ends up being, I feel like it's what season 1 should have been. Asterisk. Unless they do the same thing again. Supposedly, it's rumored that they are going to tie the loose ends of this story to a close, and they are not planning for a third season of Ahsoka unless it does incredibly well. But looking at recent reports around Disney Plus numbers, it's probably not going to happen. Everyone's just kind of getting burnt out on a lot of the streaming services, and I'd say Disney Plus and Star Wars hasn't really shown a big movement. All of the Star Wars shows have been progressively getting fewer and fewer viewership numbers, and when Acolyte ends up being in the top and the top number, I don't think that's anything to do in favor of the Acolyte. It's just showcasing how little content of value from the average viewer there is on Disney Plus. But I do want to talk about some of the things that we have heard about Ahsoka Season 2, my thoughts on it, and what could be happening as we go a little bit deeper into Ahsoka Season 2. The most interesting thing to me, and I think the average viewer, is this story or leak around a report that Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen are returning as their characters of Anakin and Obi Wan. This is going to be a flashback like we saw with Ahsoka Season 1. I am no big fan of flashbacks in shows and stories. I think it is a way to just dumb down a story and make it less intriguing to a viewer. Like, they are over-explaining things. You're wasting time with the viewer. You're focused more on the past of these characters rather than the future of these characters, and that is where the fun of story happens. In my opinion, I would like to see things actually shown instead of them being told to us through these flashbacks. I know a lot of people are excited about this just because, and they're excited about this for the same reason that Ahsoka and Lucasfilm and Disney are doing this to put these characters in the show. People just want to see more of Obi-Wan and Anakin, and Lucasfilm and Disney know this. They know that if they put flashbacks in it, a story that is not going to be as impactful as it could be or should be, considering how much money is going to be put into it, will be perceived better if they pull the strings of nostalgia. Lucasfilm is very, very well equipped and also well established when it comes to utilizing nostalgia to actually grab people rather than doing anything new. And I'm not going to say that they haven't done anything new with any of the Disney Plus shows. I think there are a lot of great aspects to most of them. Even Acolyte, which I didn't really enjoy overall for the story, had great elements. I think what they were trying to do is commendable. They just failed on the execution side, and I think there were broader politics on the inside that really hindered that story. And I just wish that they could have done more with it. But on the other hand, I really enjoyed Khmer and the ideas that they were playing around with of the cracks in the foundation of the Jedi coming forward to the front and explaining some of that history and showcasing how some organization that is built on the impact of positivity and love and respect and honoring all various aspects slowly becomes corrupted, and the impacts of the Sith and the Sith's actions in the galaxy. That aspect I think they could have done much better with. It's there in glimpses, but this is another thing that they thought putting lightsabers and great choreography into something that they just did not put much thought into the story aspect of would phase things over. And Ahsoka Season 1 did this. I think it's more understandable with Ahsoka because the main motivation is trying to show growth of Ahsoka's character. They don't really achieve it just because Ahsoka in the beginning is the same Ahsoka as we end with, and there's not much growth there. But they try to trick us in saying, look at the struggle she's trying to face. And that idea is super fascinating. What happens when you have Ahsoka, who is trained by Anakin, who she now knows becomes Darth Vader, the person that is responsible for so much death and destruction and corruption in the galaxy? How do you come to terms with you also being a part of his kind of downfall? Having fought someone that you loved and you honored and you respected, how can someone that you thought of as a father figure, a brother figure, or what have you, a teacher, how can you come to terms with that when they are also the antithesis of what you hope to stand for? And you also have to think to yourself, if he can turn bad, what does that mean for me? That is the story that they're trying to tell with Ahsoka, but they do not have the chops yet, or the freedom, or the ability to do that story justice. And it's a shame. And I think they're gonna try to dive a little bit deeper, hopefully do better. The best way to get better is just to keep doing it. I think Dave Filoni is a great writer and director for animated. He just is not a good director or writer for live action up to this point. Only way he's going to get better is to keep on doing it. I just wish that he would also consult more with some incredible storytellers that are available to him and work on that, and also push the character of Ahsoka further than what she has been so far. But let me know your thoughts. I know I dumped a lot there. There are a lot of thoughts I have with Ahsoka Season 2, and I just wanted to get them out there in a video and talk a little bit about Ahsoka Season 2's direction, some of the stories that we've had. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Check out our podcast, and may the Force be with you.